שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יאללה לי, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יאללה לי, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד.
So, welcome everyone, Shabbat Shalom. Everyone here, we've already begun our morning. We've said Shabbat Shalom to everyone joining us online. We are so glad that you can be here with us as we celebrate Gavin and we celebrate Lauren becoming bar and bat mitzvah. My name is Rabbi Max. I'm here with Rabbi Rachel, and we are so pleased that you are joining us for this wonderful simcha to participate along. And we really encourage everyone here in the sanctuary and everyone joining us online to participate with us. You have Sidurim. For those of you online, they are pinned to the Facebook feed. Sing along with us. We can hear you from wherever you are. We know that you are praying along with us. And so we really, really encourage that. It really helps Gavin and helps Lauren to feel in this moment and to feel the joy that's surrounding them from near and from far. And we ask everyone here to please, in the sanctuary, to please make sure your cell phones are off or in the silent mode. If you are a doctor or medical professional, you know what you need to do to make sure that is proper for you. And we will continue with a little Hine Mato, Rabbi Rachel.
Hine Mato v'manayim, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine Mato v'manayim, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine Mato, Hine Mato. Yalla la, yalla la 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 la. Hine Mato, Hine Mato. Yalla la, yalla la 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 la. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
All right, Lauren and Gavin, now is the time that you receive your first piece of adult Jewish clothing. That whenever we pray, especially in the mornings, when it's light out, we wear this talit. A talit that is special and unique to you, that you have the opportunity to wear for the first time as bar and bat mitzvah. And so to present you with your talit, I would like to invite your parents, Bryce and Shelley and Clay, to read this blessing for you on page 5 in the English.
So go ahead and take a hold of the talit. Get it all ready to be put on. First, we'll do the blessings.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
As this talit is draped around your shoulders, may the voices of generations speak to you. May you know that there is people, a rich heritage to which you belong, a sacred place from which you are connected to all who dwell on earth. As you are embraced in the folds of this talit, so too are you wrapped in the loving embrace of your family, community, and this holy congregation. May this simplest of garments always be for you a symbol of God's abiding and sheltering presence.
As you recite the blessing,
That part.
we should read. So, should we say that?
As you recite the blessing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And wrap
Yourself
yourself in this talit.
we proudly watch and celebrate with you as you accept your
Place in the chain of tradition.
All right, and Gavin, recite your blessing, and then Lauren, you'll recite after Gavin.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihitate b'tzitzi.
Amen.
And Gavin, go ahead and bring that microphone to that comfortable spot it was before. All right, and Lauren, when you're ready.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav lihitate b'tzitzi.
Amen. And we join together in this happy, happy moment with a Shehechianu, a prayer giving thanks to God for helping us reach this occasion.
Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Amen.
Page 6, Gavin and Lauren, you lead us in this B'nai Mitzvah prayer.
God be with me on this occasion of my bar mitzvah.
Help me make meaningful of the covenant you now establish with me.
Sustain me with a sense of holiness, inspire in me a desire to be special.
I do not ask you make my life easy. Resolve my problems, map out the directions of my life.
I ask only that you strengthen within me the desire to mold and shape my life in accordance with your will.
In this hour of my bat mitzvah, I invoke your blessings upon my parents and friends and all who have loved and cared for me and have brought me to this time of gladness. Give them joy and fulfillment in my growth and my achievement.
You
who turn the hearts of children to their parents and the hearts of parents to their children.
Amen. On page 7, Gavin and Lauren, these are the Nisim B'chol Yom, the blessings for everyday miracles. And this is when we take what we do literally each and every morning, getting out of bed, opening our eyes, stretching, and we raise it to a level of holiness. And so what would normally be a nice occasion of bringing family and friends together for your B'nai Mitzvah, we raise it to a level of holiness by adding in these prayers. And so you raise up this moment for all of us as you lead us in Nisim B'chol Yom, beginning on page 7.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech vivina lechavhin ben yom uvein laila.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokei afivrim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokaf kefufim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamashim mitzadei gaver.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanotei le'afkoah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina me'enai utnuma me'af apai.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat korin.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen. We continue praying responsively with you on the bottom of page 13.
May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for fellowship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
And may it be too high to admit indifference, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We rise for the Baruch, page 15. Gavin, with Yotzer Or, this next prayer, it's a prayer all about light. And it's a prayer that we say even when it's cloudy outside, even when there isn't light streaming through the stained glass windows of this sanctuary. It's something that reminds us that the light that exists in this prayer is something deeper. It's the light of your soul, the light of the souls of everyone you love, that we believe existed thousands and thousands, millennia and millennia ago, that is something that's eternal, and something that we give and that we share no matter the weather outside, but whenever we gather together as a community. As you lead us in this prayer, Yotzer Or, on page 15, you remind us of that light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer Or Imbrei Choshe Oshesh Shalom Imbrei Hedakol Hamrei Leonard Ledim Aleichem Berhem Teo Meseresh Behol Yom Tamid Masher Retim Ma Barabas Adonai Kulam Mitzil Aseret Malach Harashiki Nasa Tibarach Adonai Eloheinu Al Shavra Lamaseh Adasa Velas Selah Or Hasha Al Zion Tay Vekner Lora Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hamelech.
Lauren, Ahava Rabbah is actually a very fitting prayer to say this morning of all mornings, because Ahava Rabbah is about the love of Torah. It's about the greatest love that we can give to those whom we care about, which is an education, which is learning and teaching. And it's something that, for the Jewish people, is eternal to who we are. That when we teach others, we show our great and eternal love. Just as God gave us Torah, we believe that this love is the eternal sign between God and our people. As you lead us on page 16 with Ahava Rabbah.
Ahava Rabbah Ahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chemla Gedola V'tera Hamalta Aleinu, Ba'avur Avotenu V'imotenu, Shabbathu V'ha V'lamdem Hukei Chayim, Kain Tachanenu Ulamdenu, Ham Rachem Rachem Aleinu, V'tain Belibenu, Lehavin Uhaskil, Lishmoa Lilmod Ulelamed, Lishmor V'la'asot Ukayem et Kol Divrei Talmud Toratecha Ba'ahava, Baruch atah Adonai Haboher B'amo Yisrael Ba'ahava.
No words, no 6 words are truer to what it means to be a Jew than the words of Shema. Straight from our Torah, these words call out to all of the Jewish people, to everyone, everywhere, to hear that there is one God and that we are one people. We join together in words of Shema. We close our eyes to concentrate on the thoughts in our hearts, or concentrating on the words of the page 18.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Vaed.
Please be seated. We join with you, Gavin and Lauren, as you lead us in Ve'ahavta, the bottom of page 18 and 19.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושנתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם להיות על ידך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Julie and Preston Pruitt, if you will please stand up and stand at the mark from the front of the kahal, the sanctuary, and lead us in the responsive reading at the bottom of page 19.
All right, buddy, we gotta read this. Okay. Adonai, our God, you took us out of slavery in Europe. You made us free.
You were in the courage with which we overcame 40 years of desert wandering.
Even today you
Are in the hope that a beam of light brightens the darkness of suffering and despair.
You are the love that creates, protects, forgives.
Standing at the sea, we felt your goodness and your love. We sang a song to you. And still today, we sing that song.
We praise you, Adonai,
Redeemer of Israel.
Our song of freedom, Yichamocha. Thank you both very much.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהנית בקודש, נורא תהילות עושי פלא, נורא תהילות עושי פלא. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ובדכנו מך, יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael.
We rise for the Amidah, page 21.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak,
Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezoher Hasdei Avod Ve'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol Atarav Le'oshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Ramim, Somech Noflim Ve'ofech Cholim, U'Matir Asirim, U'Mechayem Emunato, L'Shemei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, U'Midon Lelach, Melech Memit, U'Mechayem, U'Matzmiah Yeshua, Eman Atah Lecha Chayot Hakol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol.
Linda and Don Owens, please step to the mark and lead us in the responsive reading, page 23.
They are the ways of holiness.
Hold on, Gavin. We've got Linda and Don. They're on their way.
Yeah. Good one, Kelly. Anyways. Those lines.
Many are the ways of holiness, varied are its paths.
There
There
is
is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
There is holiness when we are kind to others.
There is holiness when we strive for harmony in all of our relationships.
There is holiness when people of different backgrounds work together for a common future.
There is holiness when people seek justice and struggle for righteousness.
There is holiness when people create lasting poetry or song upon philosophy.
There is holiness when we forget what divides us
and
and remember what unites us.
Holy, holy, holy is Adonai our God.
Thank you very much. Kedusha, found on page 24.
Nick.
Kadesh et Shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, Kal katuv al yad nevi'echa, V'kol razeh ozeh ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Zevaot, Milocho ha'aretz, Kevodo. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Adir Shimcha b'chol ha'aretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, v'hu Yashmienu, Berachamav le'nei kol chai. Ani Adonai Eloheichem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohayich Zion, Ledor vador. Hallelujah. Ledor vador nagigod lecha, unetzach netzachim kedushat hanakdish, v'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. page 25 at the bottom. Pray responsibly.
From of old, the Jewish people have seen Shabbat as a unique gift, a token of its covenant with God.
Shabbat
has
is the most cherished creation of the Jewish spirit. It mirrors the essence of the Jewish soul.
Shabbat has never been merely a day of rest from labor. It has always been a break in the routine of everyday life.
Shabbat is a symbol of liberation and triumph, of the holy over the profane, of spirit over matter.
In every age, Shabbat afforded the Jew a scared retreat, a heaven of safety, a fountain of new strength and perpetual renewal.
Shabbat nurtures family life in love and harmony. A home at peace welcomes Shabbat with joy.
Shabbat is part of nature's design. The very purpose of creation, all that was created, attained its fulfillment in Shabbat.
Shabbat is our hope, the calm haven where all the weary find rest. With the coming of Shabbat, redemption and peace enter the world. Our song of Shabbat joy, Yismechu, page 26. V'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat dekore, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat dekore, oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei shavi Shabbat, kulam yismehu, ve'itagnu mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat dekore, oneg Shabbat. Vashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, chemdat yamin, oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat dekore, oneg Shabbat. Ma'aseh v'reishit Shabbat, zecher ma'aseh, ma'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat dekore, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat dekore, oneg Shabbat. Harold and Robin, please step forward to the mark and lead us in the responsive prayer on page 27. But miracles are all around us and within us. We are each walking miracles. When we see suffering, what miracle saddens us? When we give and receive love, what miracle warms us? When we pray, what miracle renews us?
Every springtime is a miracle. Every snowflake is a miracle. The thoughts we think, the words we speak, the hopes we cherish, each is a miracle.
For all these miracles, may your name be exalted and blessed forever and ever. Thank you very much. Becca Nelson, please come on up, page 28, as we continue praying responsively. You got the whole?
Great. Remember?
Remember,
We're
they
Becca.
wrote the wrong name.
Becca,
Oh, we had a wrong in our sheet. That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll say it. Our God, we know there is no greater gift than peace. Help us to find the peace that comes from the love of your Torah.
Inspire us to banish hatred, war, bloodshed, and bigotry. Help us to establish forever one human family, doing your will in love and peace.
Help us to find peace in ourselves and among all people. O God of peace, bless us with peace.
You have given us the power of God to bring peace and justice into the world. May we always love peace and pursue it, and love our fellow creatures. Fill us with kindness, wisdom, and love. Then shall we learn to live in peace. Blessed God, teacher of peace. Thank you very much. Our prayer for peace, Sim Shalom, page 28.
Sim Shalom.
Shalom, Tova, Uveracha. Chaim v'chesed v'rachamim. Chaim v'chesed v'rachamim.
Verachamim. Sim
Shalom. Shalom, Tova, Uveracha. Lauren and Gavin, you have led us so magnificently this morning. We have shared in the joy of hearing your voices as leaders of our congregation, and now we take a moment for ourselves, a moment to maybe close our eyes, to find words on the page that speak to us, to take all that we have heard, all that we have said this morning, and to bring it in for a silent prayer, for a moment of quiet reflection. Here, we are at the moment preparing for our Torah service for you, Gavin and Lauren, as you chant, as you read, as you teach us as adults in our community. But just before we get there, there's a quick blessing that we want to offer you from your parents. So Clay and Shelley and Bryson, if you will please read the parents' blessing to Gavin and to Lauren on page 31.
May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be worlds still to come, and may you trust in generations past and yet to be.
May your heart be filled with intuition, and your words be filled with insight. May song of praise ever be upon your tongue, and your vision be on a straight path before you.
May your eyes shine with the light of holy words, and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, and your fulfillment be in righteousness.
A Jewish home opens its heart, and its link to the generations is proclaimed. Today, our child, nearly grown, is called to read from the Torah, and is welcomed into the congregation. May this moment be blessed.
Amen.
All right, so we are going to rise as a congregation, turning to page 32 as we prepare for our Torah service.
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah,
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato. All right, Bryson and Clay, now is the time for you to pick up the Torahs. And you're going to hold tight onto them for just a moment. So, Lauren and Gavin, as you look to your left and your right, see your dad's holding the Torah, your mom between the two of you. So much family love, so many people who are here to support you. We imagine all of the generations who have come before you to bring you to this moment. Many of them are here, like your grandparents, Harvey and Vicky, Linda and Don and Harold and Robin, who are supporting you, cheering you on, and are going to give you so many hugs and kisses, maybe air hugs and blowing kisses, but however it is, they're just going to surround you with love on this day and for the rest of your lives. And we know that there are people who aren't here, but we imagine their spirit filling this room. We know that they're looking down on this moment, and they're smiling. And so proud of you as you take your places in the chain of our people's tradition. So now Clay and Bryson, if you'll pass the Torah so Shelley can give it a quick hug and kiss before passing it to Gavin and before passing it to Lauren.
All right, friends. Everybody got it nice and tight? Page 33. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai Iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachdav. You can now undress the Torah. Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagevura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki Ho B'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Ki Ho B'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha Ve'Mitnaseh Lechol Erosh Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Please be seated. All right, friends. For our first aliyah, we call to the microphone that we've been using, Becca Nelson. Ta'amad Rivka Tirtza Bachira Shulamit La'aliyah. But just a second, Becca. Gavin, make sure you've got your spot. You see it?
And just so everyone's aware, we have these two Torah scrolls not because they're reading from the same spot, but because Gavin is reading from the book of Deuteronomy, the very end of the Torah. We don't often get to do this, but a B'nai Mitzvah on...
You're underplaying this. This is really cool, friends.
Really cool.
We are ending the book of Deuteronomy and beginning the book of Genesis. It's not so often that this gets to happen, especially on Shabbat and especially for a B'nai Mitzvah service, so we are super pumped.
It's super rare.
We're really excited.
It's awesome.
All right, Becca, when you're ready, lead us in our blessing for before the reading of the Torah.
Okay. Right. Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torto. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai Elav Zot haaretz asher nishba'ati LaAvraham litzak uLaYaakov lemor Lezarecha etnena Hariti vanecha vashama lo ta'avor vayimad sham Moshe Eved Adonai be'eretz Moab al pi Adonai Vayikbor atat vakaya be'eretz Moab Mo beit Peor velo yada ish et kavrato od hayom hazeh.
Asher Koach, our blessing for after Becca.
All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you. And for our second Aliyah, we call up proud parents, Shelley and Bryson and Clay. Ya'amdu Shira Shulamit Bad Yeheskel Melech V'chaya Gideon ben Abraham V'Sara La'aliyah.
Baruch Adonai Elohim.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu miloahim v'natanu Torato Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Umeshe ben Me'av Asrim Shna B'Mato Lo Hahata Edo V'Nas Lecho Vayivku B'nei Yisrael Ed Moshe V'Ar Mo'av Shalashim Yom Vayitemu Yemei Vehi Eva Moshe Yehoshua Benun Malei Ruach HaChama Kisma Moshe Et Yadav Elav Vayishmeu Elav Ben Yisrael Vasu Kasher Siva Adonai Et Moshe.
All right, our blessing for after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chaim olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. All right, Gavin. So, as we practiced in the morning, earlier this morning, you're going to go have a seat now. Hand off the yad. Yeah, exactly. It's a quick second, but if you need a drink of water, you can do that too. And so as you are sitting, you've come down from the bima, so to speak, even though you're still up there, as a child in the congregation. And after you finish that drink of water, but after you stand back up, after Rabbi Rachel calls you to the Torah, this will be the first time as an adult in the Jewish congregation, in our congregation, in Temple Emanu-El, for the people of Israel. And so you will rise as a man in our congregation.
Ya'amad Avraham Eliezer ben Shira Shulamit La'aliyah. All right.
So the blessing
So
sheet.
the blessing sheet.
It ran away, huh?
Where'd that blessing? There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Baruch Adonai Hamvara.
Baruch Adonai Amvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvara Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar bani mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Let's hear those very last words of Torah.
Your first word is Vilo Kam. Do you see it? It's like 4 lines from the bottom.
We need you here.
Should be
Okay.
on the edge of the column where it says
You need to
Vilo.
come spot it?
What's the word we're looking for?
Vilo.
Vilo Kam Navi.
Velocom. Here it is.
You got it? All right.
Great.
All good.
Hey, when it happens.
Velocom Navi Israel Kamoshe Asher Yada Adonai Panim El Panim Lechol Ha'atad V'ameftim Asher Shalahu Adonai La'asad Be'eretz Mitzrayim Lefarah Uleho Avadav Uleho Aratzad Uleho Hayad HaHazakah Uleho Hamara Hagadol Asher Asa Moshe Le'enei Kol Yisrael.
Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek.
Be strong, be
Be
strong,
strong.
be strengthened. Beautiful. And our blessing for after.
Baruch
Bar-
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tohenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. All right, Clay, if you will come on the other side of Gavin for a blessing for you, Gavin, as you have done something incredible. Not only did you read the last lines of Torah, and that is such a treat for us to hear because we never get to hear it, and so thank you for that, but you are also showing us what it means to be a leader in our congregation, standing up there, so proud, doing so well. It's my privilege to offer you this blessing as you are now, bar mitzvah. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, hu yivarech et Avraham Eliezer ben Shira Shulamit, shehigia lemitzvot, v'ala l'Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmerehu, v'yechayehu, v'yechonen et libo lihyot shalem im Adonai Elohav, lahagot b'torato, lalechet b'drachav, v'lishmor mitzvotav, v'yimtzachen v'seichel tov, v'enei Elohim v'adam v'nomar,
Amen.
Amen. Now in English. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, Gavin, who has come for an aliyah upon the age of mitzvot. May the Holy One guard you and sustain you, helping you to be wholehearted in your faith, studying God's Torah, walking in God's ways, and fulfilling God's mitzvot. May you find favor before God and all people. And we say together, Amen. All right. So, by the way, the last words that we said together as a community, chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek, this is not something that we do normally. This is actually the only time of the year that we say this as a community, and to end on your special portion, Gavin, is pretty incredible. All right.
Awesome. And so now, we've just finished the book of Deuteronomy, and instead of taking 35 minutes to roll that same Torah all the way back to the beginning, we just so happen to have another Torah for just this reason, which Lauren will be reading from for us this morning. So we are in the book of Genesis, the very, very beginning. And for our first aliyah, we call to the microphone Harvey and Vicky Siegel. Ya'amdu, Yehezkel Melech ben Abraham Eliezer, Chaya bat Moshe Aliyah.
Baruch Hu es Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'nosan lanu es torso. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'haaretz hayat tohu vavohu v'choshech al penei tehom ve'ruach Elohim merochefet al penei hamayim vayomer Elohim yehi or vayehi or vayar Elohim et haor ki tov vayavdel Elohim bein haor uvein hachoshech vayikra Elohim laor yom velachoshech kara laila vayehi erev vayehi voker yom echad.
Our prayer for after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher nosan lanu Torah semes, v'chayei olam notah b'sachenu, Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. Thank you. And for our second Aliyah, we call forward Carrie Jacob Siegel, Miranda Rose Siegel, Parker Samuel Siegel. Ya'amdu, Yaakov Shabtai ben Yehezkel Melech v'chaya, Miriam Rivka bat Yaakov Shabtai, Shmuel Tzvi ben Yaakov Shabtai, La'aliyah.
Baruch Adonai Mevarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Elohim yehi rakia beto hamayim. Vihi mavdil ben mayim la mayim, vayas Elohim et harakia vayavdel ben hamayim asher mitachat larakia uvein hamayim asher me'ol larakia vayhichein. Vayikra Elohim larakia shamayim vayhi erev vayhi vaker yom sheni.
If we could have our nose covered too, please, as we do our blessing for after the reading of the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. And for our third Aliyah, once more we call proud parents, Shelley and Bryson and Clay. Ya'amdu, Shira Shulamit ben Abraham v'Sara la'Aliyah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Elohim yikavu hamayim mita'achat hashamayim el mekom echad v'tera'eh hayabasha vayhichein vayikra Elohim layabasha eretz umikveh hamayim kara yamim vayar Elohim ki tov.
Beautiful. And our blessing for after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. le'olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. All right, Lauren, now is your chance to make your way to have a seat for the purpose of being called for an Aliyah L'Torah. And it is this moment that you become the proud and strong woman that I know you are in our congregation. And formally, this makes you it gives you the ability to chant Torah for Forever Ford for the congregation, to be called to an Aliyah for Forever Ford, to be counted in a minyan when we need those 10 people to come together to support one another, and it is my sincere honor to get to call you today. So, we say, Ta'amad, Chaya Bat Shira Shulamit La'aliyah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
That's all the way over there.
There you go.
Vayomer Elohim, Tache Haaretz, Dashe, Esav, Mazri, Azira, Ve'et Peri. Oh, say Peri, let me know. Asher Zarvo, Al Haaretz Vayhichen. V'tetzei Haaretz, Dashe, Esav, Mazri, Azira, Leminehu, Ve'etz, Osei Peri, Asher Zarvo, Leminehu, Vayar Elohim Ki Tov, Vayehi Erev, Vayehi Voker, Yom Shlishi.
Shar Kohech, our blessing for after the reading of the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And now, once again, we invite Clay and Shelly and Bryson to be a little closer to Lauren. And Lauren, at this time, we offer you this Mishaberach for your continued spiritual growth. Mishaberach Avatenu v'Imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech et Chaya bat Shira Shulamit shehigia lemitzvot v'alta laTorah HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmarecha v'chayecha v'yichon et libach l'hiyot shalem im Adonai Elohecha lahagot b'torato lalechet b'drachav ולשמור מצוותיו, ותמצא חן שכל טוב בעיני אלוהים ואדם ונאמר, Amen. And all that is to say, Lauren, may the God who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you. You who have come for an aliyah upon the age of mitzvot, Lauren, may the Holy One guard you and sustain you, helping you to be wholehearted in your faith, as you study God's Torah, as you walk in God's ways, and as you fulfill God's mitzvot. May you find favor before God, before all people, and let us say,
Amen. All right, so now what we're going to do is, Lauren and Gavin, you're going to cover up your Torah, so grab the little strap on to the sides and put the strap around the Torah, and you can just put the cover, lay it flat on top of the Torah so it can rest there. Now, as you have chanted so beautifully, as you have been our storyteller, teaching us about the end of the Torah and the beginning of the Torah, giving us something so special to witness. Now we get to learn from you, our teachers, and our congregation. You have your moments now to tell us what you have learned and what you would like to say now that you are a bar and bat mitzvah in our congregation, Gavin and Lauren. And so make sure the microphone is nice and in front of you, and
What am I getting?
you have your Devar Torah out.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Torah portion is V'zot HaBracha from the book of Deuteronomy. V'zot HaBracha in English means, and this is the blessing. This is a very special reading because it is the last Torah portion in the whole Torah and is read on Simchat Torah, which is today. There are two main parts of my Torah portion. In the first part, Moses blesses the people and distributes the land of Israel to each of the 12 tribes. The second part of my Torah portion is about Moses climbing up the steps of Mount Nebo, where God shows Moses the land that was promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Here God gives this land to Moses' offspring. But Moses is not allowed to step foot in this land because God is punishing him. At the end of the 40-year journey into the promised land, God told Moses to speak to a rock that would then provide water, for the thirsty people. But instead, in frustration, Moses struck the rock, so God is punishing him by not allowing him into the promised land. Quite a harsh punishment, if you ask me. This is where Moses dies at 120 years old. He was buried in the valley, and the Israelites mourned in his honor for 30 days. But before he died, Moses passed down his leadership to Joshua. But there was never a leader like Moses again. So that's it. Moses dies. This is the end of the Torah portion. As I studied my Torah portion, what strikes me the most is why God chose Moses in the first place. It seems that Moses led the Jewish people to the promised land mostly out of duress, not because he wanted to be powerful or was the most qualified. Moses wanted to give up so many times, but he continued because God threatened to punish him or deprive the people if he didn't follow God's wishes. Why would God choose Moses to be the leader when there were, more spoken or ambitious leaders? It was because Moses was kind. Let me tell you the story of how Moses was chosen. One day Moses saw a very thirsty lamb drinking from the brook and said, "Little lamb, had I known that you were so thirsty, I would have carried you to the water on my own back." After hearing that, God said, "Moses is worthy of being the leader of my people." So what was Moses' outstanding quality that made him God's choice? It was Moses' willingness to go out of his way to help another creature. It was not his willingness to help another in need. It was his willingness to help another in need. Kindness, not intelligence, was more important to God. I feel that being kind and doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do is how people should live their lives. Moses demonstrates this by distributing the land to the Israelites before his death, even though he was mad at God for not allowing him into the promised land. He could have said, "Forget it, I'm done. Y'all go figure this out from here." But he didn't. Moses knew this was the right thing to do for the Jewish people. In life, we should be kind and do what's right, even without referring back to the Ten Commandments and all of the stories of the Torah. There may be obstacles along the way, like having to part the Red Sea and dealing with thousands of starving, unhappy people. And we may need a little push from God, from our parents or teachers. But if you stay focused and are kind to those around you, you may get people behind you to support you. The Jewish people rallied behind Moses and followed him despite their discomfort and complaining. They did this because he fought for them and had compassion for them. At the very end of my Torah portion, God also shows an act of loving kindness by carrying Moses to his final resting place. He did not have to do this. although God had been harsh at times. Things end in an act of kindness. Nothing in life comes easy, but you can accomplish anything if you have a kind heart and stay focused on the end goal. Some ways that I've shown kindness is helping friends with math at school and helping my pop with things around the house like moving a heavy mattress. After hearing the lessons of Moses, I hope you will see that you don't need a reason to be kind in the world. It doesn't hurt to be kind. Becoming a bar mitzvah is becoming an adult in the Jewish community. To me, this means that I will continue my studies at Davis Academy Jewish Day School and celebrate the holidays with my family. I also love going to Camp Barney Meadows in the summer. I will remain active at the synagogue and always have a mezuzah on my door. I look forward to being able to celebrate the Jewish holidays in person at the synagogue with my family. Until then, we'll have to do our best to stay connected with our Judaism through school and through Zoom. What I like best about being Jewish is that it encourages spending time with family. Shabbat dinners, seders, making Hanukkah cookies, and eating apples and honey are some of my favorite traditional pastimes. Honestly, I'm not sure how Judaism will fit into my life as an adult. I'm going to continue learning about Jewish values and practicing the traditions. I look forward to going to Israel with my 8th grade class next year with school and to learn more about history and the land of Israel. One thing I know is that Judaism teaches kindness, and that is why I chose to do something kind for my mitzvah project. There are a lot of elderly people during COVID who haven't been able to connect with their families and friends. Normally, groups of kids from different schools would organize and visit them and sing to them and read to them. Family members would visit them regularly and give them hugs. Without that, the elderly people may feel lonely and disconnected. I decided to draw some pictures to bring them some joy. They can hang them on their walls to remind them that people are thinking about them and hopefully this will make them smile. I want to thank my family for helping me get ready for my bar mitzvah. I want to thank Cantor Barbara for being patient while I learned my Torah portion and worked on the hard tunes. I'd like to thank Cantor Desnick for helping me pull it all together. I'd like to thank Rabbi Max and Rabbi Rachel for helping me think through my Devar Torah, especially Rabbi Max. He taught me new things about how Judaism ties into the rest of the world. I'd like to thank my mom for helping me tirelessly write my Devar Torah and letting me have this experience. I'd like to thank my dad for helping me with my confidence. I'd like to thank my stepdad for helping me understand more about what a leader is. I'd like to thank my grandparents for always being there for me, and Becca for helping me with some of my blessings. And finally, I would like to thank Lauren for helping me get started learning the tunes for my Torah portion, and for sharing this day with me. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. All right. So now we are going to hear from Lauren. And thank you very much, Gavin, for sharing all of your wisdom with us. And we'll have plenty more to say about that as we move on in our service. And now we get to hear from our second teacher, from Lauren, as you teach us from the beginning of the Torah, from Genesis.
Hi, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Torah portion is Bereshit from the book of Genesis. This Torah portion is the first portion of the Torah. It's about earth creation, the story of Adam and Eve, and the story of Cain and Abel. As most of you know, the Torah says God created the earth in 6 days. He saw the planet he created. It was vacant, desolate, and lonely. He chose to form light and day, also known as day and night. The next day, God created an expanse from the midst of the waters, the sky. On the third day, God created the land, plants, and trees. On the fourth, fifth, and sixth day, God created the sun, moon, stars, fish, man, and animals. On the seventh and last day, God rested. The seventh day is known as Shabbat. God created the Garden of Eden and told Adam to guard and protect the fruits it held. God placed many trees in the Garden of Eden, including the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and bad. They were told not to eat from the tree of knowledge. The penalty for eating from it was death. A serpent convinced Eve to eat the forbidden fruit. Eve shared it with Adam. They were naked and then became aware and embarrassed about it and hid. God punished the serpent to crawl on its stomach. God also kicked Adam and Eve out of the garden and took away their immortality and made them mere humans. Finally, God punished Eve with great pain while giving birth to her 2 sons, Cain and Abel. Cain grew up to be a farmer, offering his best crop to God, while Abel was a shepherd, also offering his best cattle to God. God smiled only upon Abel and told Cain he could improve. God talked about the temptation of evil, but still, Cain killed Abel. Cain could not forgive himself. God punished him with a life of wandering. I chose to write about the Adam and Eve Torah portion instead of the creation because the creation portion is more of a metaphorical story, but the Adam and Eve story has a clear lesson: do the right thing. The Adam and Eve portion clearly shows that when you do the wrong thing, there are consequences. Even if there aren't direct consequences, it can affect the future. Consequences can be positive or negative. When you do something wrong, like breaking a law, there are consequences. You could go to jail or get a ticket. I want to do things that have a positive effect on my community. Planting trees, helping others, showing respect, and more have a positive effect. Nearly 7 billion trees are cut down every year. That's almost 1 tree per person on Earth. It's our responsibility to replant trees and plants. They give us oxygen, paper, food, and so many more things we take for granted every day. I can have a positive effect on the environment by planting flowers and seeds around my community and creating a garden. I chose this project because of the Adam and Eve part of my Torah portion, which takes place in the Garden of Eden. There are not many places trees can grow in my area, and trees that aren't properly taken care of for many years most likely won't survive. So I'll plant smaller things like herbs and flowers. I remember when I was little, my grandma used to plant strawberries in this little garden behind her house. Her garden inspired me for my mitzvah project. Becoming a bar mitzvah to me means not only do I take on the responsibility of being a Jewish adult, I take on the maturity. It's your responsibility to fast on Yom Kippur when you're a Jewish adult, but nobody's forcing you to. Maturity is about taking it upon yourself to do the responsible thing. I plan on fasting and going to services just like normal, but as a Jewish adult, I can really absorb and take in everything in the services. When you're younger, services just feel like you're sitting in a chair for 2 hours, but as you get older, it's easier to understand. After my bat mitzvah, I want to be a madricha from Sunday school at Temple Emanu-El just like my sister. This is important to me because I went to Sunday school for about 7 years in preschool here. I love Sunday school, and I want everyone here to have the same experience. When I have kids, I'll send them to Sunday school because if I hadn't gone, number 1, I wouldn't be even close to as prepared for my bat mitzvah as I am. And number 2, it taught me a lot of important values and lessons. Israel is full of history from 3 main religions: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. I want to go to Israel as soon as I can to experience all of its cultures. It's gorgeous how those 3 religions' histories all combine. My dad's side of the family is Christian, and my mom's side is Jewish, so I love making latkes with my mom on Hanukkah and helping my grandma on my dad's side make red velvet cake before Christmas Eve. Israel has so many foods from these 3 religions, and I hope to travel there soon to try them. First, I want to thank my rabbis. Without Rabbi Spike, Rabbi Max, and Rabbi Rachel, I wouldn't be here. They do so much for our community here at Temple Emanu-El, and so much for me and Gavin. I also want to thank Cantor Desnick and my tutor, Cantor Margolis. They have taught me so much and helped me on my journey of becoming a bat mitzvah. Thank you to all my friends who have gone through ups and downs with me at Davis, Peachtree, and Austin. You're what motivates me to come to school, do my best, and take time to keep my relationships with all of you. Thank you to my many grandparents. Even though I see some of you more than others, where am I? Oh, I cherish all the memories I've made and will make with you. I especially love spending the holidays with you. You make me smile and laugh. Thank you, Becca and Gavin, for always being there. When I'm crying, when I'm happy, when I'm angry, and through all my problems, Becca. You're a star, and I love being around you. You bring so much positivity wherever you go, and I look up to you so much. Now, my parents. Where do I start? My stepdad. You are quite the dad. I feel like you just came out of the womb like as a dad. You're so handy and get excited when your new hose attachment comes. You bring so much to the family and are very loud sometimes. I'm so glad you're in my life, especially because you brought Emmy and Austin. Emmy, you're like a built-in best friend that I didn't know I needed. You're so energetic and funny. Austin, you're a great older brother. You're a pretty standard grumpy teen sometimes, but you work so hard and and care about everything you do, especially your friends and family. Now, finally, Mom and Dad. Dad, you're literally one of the funniest people I've ever met. That's where I get it from. You're so hardworking, talented, and a great cook. You have such an impact on my life, and I love you so much. Mom, I can't put into words how much you mean to me. I can't imagine what I would be like without you. You're such an important figure to me, and I remember every second I spent with you. I still remember when we were at a gas station, and I couldn't reach the soap. It got in my mouth, and you laughed so hard you cried. You basically do everything for me. You literally birthed me. You're funny, caring, responsible, and love your job. Me. Thanks for everything. I love you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Beautiful, Lauren. And now, friends, we have this special chance to do our prophetic portion.
Yes.
Our Haftarah. So, Gavin, head on back up there.
We're going to go back in our prayer books to page 36 for the blessing before. And then Gavin and Lauren will be reading from the book of Judges. Why they're reading from the book of Judges on this of all days? Because in this part of the book of Judges, it mentions the leadership of Moses and of the bravery, the kindness, and the responsibility that he took as a leader, and that we hope that all of our leaders embody. Take it away, Gavin.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar bin ve'im tovim v'artzav divreihem hana emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'torah u'moshe avdo If Yisrael emahu ben via ha'amed v'tzedek.
All right, and when you are ready, Rabbi Max Smith, the book of
Joshua. Not Judges.
Vayahi Aharei Mot Moshe Eved Adonai Vayishmer Adonai El Yehoshua ben Nun Moshe Meshared Moshe Lemor.
All right, and Lauren continuing in the book of Joshua.
Chazak v'emat ki atah tanahil et ha'am hazeh et haaretz asher nishbati la'avotam latet lachem. Rak hazak v'emat מאוד לשמור לעשות ככל התורה אשר ציווה משה עבדי אל תסור ממנו ימין ושמאל למען תשכיל בכל אשר תלך לא ימוש ספר התורה הזה מפיך והגית בו יומם ולילה למען תשמור לעשות ככל הכתוב בו כי אז תצליח את דרכך ואז תשכיל הלא ציוויתיך חזק ואמץ, אל תסור אל תערוט ואל תחד, כי עמך אדוני אלוהיך בכל אשר תלך. ויצב יהושע את שוטרי העם לאמור.
Beautiful. And our blessing for after can be found on page 37.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadarot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medaber u'mkayem, shechol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanvi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh ve'al yom ha'shmini hag hatzeret hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdushav limnucha lisason ulshimcha lechavod uletifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach yibarach shimha befi kol hai tamid le'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai
Baruch hu baruch shemo
mekadesh hashabbat ve'Yisrael ve'hazmanim.
Amen.
Yishar kachachem. Beautiful.
All right, we sing Eitz Chaim Hi, formally concluding our Torah service, and together on page
39.
39.
Eitz Chaim Hi,
Lama chazikim ba, v'tomchecha me'ushar, derachecha, darchei noam, v'chol netivotecha, shalom, hashivenu Adonai, elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu, Kekheden. All right, Gavin and Lauren. So, were this normal times, the four of us would be gathered up at the Ark. We would be close, surrounded by Torahs, the Ner Tamid above us, everyone packing the sanctuary. And we still have that in our minds. We know that we are there spiritually. We are here surrounded by family and friends, and we wish we could be closer to you. After all of these many months and years of preparation, but at this moment, Rabbi Rachel and I have the privilege to offer you our blessing as you have now become bar and bat mitzvah. So Gavin, I'm going to speak to you, and Rabbi Rachel will speak to you, Lauren. Gavin, I think that our session together was one of the best and most unique times. And you know which one I'm talking about. When we were talking, I think, an hour past the time that we had scheduled and spoke for 90 minutes. We could have gone on probably until breakfast, just talking and discussing and arguing and debating all about what Torah and Judaism and what it means and why it's relevant. And I think maybe we just ended it and we didn't quite settle on something, but I gotta say, I've never had so much fun studying Torah with somebody. And I hope that as you struggle and you debate and you examine text, you never lose that fight. That maybe it's a joy, certainly it's something that you seem to enjoy, that love of trying to get down to truth. And that is a journey that I think is one of the most worthwhile of any. It's trying to find truth and meaning in life. And it has been such an honor and a blessing to learn from you these many months. And I'm so excited to continue learning from you as one of my teachers, because as we say often, but it is very true, this is what we love most as rabbis, is to learn with our students, and for our students to become our teachers. So I am very appreciative for you having become my teacher over these past few months and years.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
Shekachach, you have led us so beautifully. And I got to tell you, It broke my heart, and yet I was so happy when, I had to hold all these emotions at once. When you left my 6th grade class to make your way to the Davis Academy, which of course, all the love for Davis Academy, but every Sunday it was such a joy last year. Every time that you walked in, you had a smile on your face, you were ready to learn, you were open to the experience, and the energy that you brought into the room, it radiated for everybody else, and it made everybody else want to learn. Everybody wanted to work with Lauren. Everybody wanted to hear what Lauren had to say. And that's power. That's very powerful. And you have this presence to you when you walk in a room. You have the ability to be humble. You know when to step back a little bit, and you know exactly when to take those steps forward. And as you continue to grow as an adult, not only in our Jewish community, but in the bigger world, keep finding that balance. I know you have it right in here, to know when you take those little steps back and when you take those big steps forward to make your voice known. Because Lauren, your voice matters, you're strong, you're smart, you've got a lot to share with our world, and we are so pleased, and we look forward to the day when you come back to us on Sundays to be a religious school madricha, because you have so much to teach, not only our teachers, but to teach our students as well. And so at this time, once more, we get to offer you both this special blessing, our priestly benediction. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and hold you close.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face always give you kindness and show you the utmost grace.
Yis Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom.
May wherever you go, wherever your journeys take you, may you be surrounded by love and by God's most precious gift of all, the gift of shalom, the gift of peace. And we all say together, Amen. All right, so Gavin and Lauren, we've said enough. Now it is time for your parents to bless you and to say a little bit about this experience, to talk to you, to talk to your family. And so Shelley and Bryson and Clay, please come on up.
We're staying.
Sure. So I've spent the last couple weeks going through the digital chronicles of the lives of these two amazing little humans, and I was reminded that parenting twins is definitely a gift that God bestows. Lauren, you are so talented and loving, with a spirit that you graciously share with the world. You're serious, you feel with deep emotion, but with a ridiculously infectious humor. You are original. Gavin, what we Nelson men lack in stature, we make up for in heart. You are humble, kind, opinionated, as the rabbi has learned, talented and witty. So many choices for words, and this morning I'm going to borrow some from one of my favorite authors from a book that I love, Flow. It is by being fully involved with every detail of our lives, whether good or bad, that we find happiness, not by trying to look for it directly. Embrace uncertainty with courage. Know that you're loved and that you have family and community that loves you and supports you and will always be here for you. Find your flow. I love you.
Gavin, we couldn't be more proud of you today. Although at times it seemed like we were dragging you through this process, the reality is that you were taking your own route, as always, and prevailing, as always. You did an awesome job on the Bema today, and we're so proud of you. Our wish for you is that your fierce independence and creativity take you far.
You are a problem solver. You don't just play the piano or the guitar. You have to arrange an entire music studio in your room. You don't just hit golf balls. You build an entire putting green in your closet. You don't just plug your phone into the wall to charge it. but you create and build an entire wireless charging device into your nightstand. Use this passion and your ingenuity to make your dreams come true. We just pray that you will find a great job that pays a tremendous amount of money to pay for all of your projects. Or better yet, you should be your own boss and do it your way, just the way you like it.
And always remember in the end to be kind, as you talked about in your Devar Torah. Your smile is contagious, your hair is usually pretty awesome, and your hugs are priceless. Continue to work hard for what's important to you, and we're always here to support you. We love you. Lauren, you've always been a very unique and thoughtful person since the day you were born. You're the first to cheer up a friend, make everybody breakfast, the crepes are amazing, or befriend somebody new. You bring people together and are always looking for a reason to get together or have a party. You find joy in the moments and the moments with others. Those qualities you should hold with you, and they will open doors for you throughout your life.
Explore your love of the arts, your cooking, your dancing, your singing, your decorating of everything in sight. Our wish for you is that one day, one of your passions might become cleaning up your room, hanging up your wet towels, or turning off your closet light. But you are such a hard worker. You're always hardworking, and you're an impressive young lady. Whether it is studying for your bat mitzvah, learning a new song for theater, grasping a new math lesson, you always work hard and you achieve great success.
We can't wait to see where your passion and exuberance for life will take you.
Let your journey be your destination. We love you.
All right, hug, hug, big kisses. And at this time, we invite Emmy, Austin, and Becca to join them on the bima as we begin to conclude our service. Don't worry, you guys you're standing up there. And you're going to help us open the ark, so head on up. And family, you guys can go ahead and move towards the ark.
Moving towards the ark.
And when you're ready, go ahead and open the ark. We are on page 40 for Aleinu the Shabbat.
Please rise.
Aleinu the Shabbat, Ladon HaKol, Latein Gidula Liotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kugiyei HaRatzot, Velo Samanu Kamishpachot Adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Vanachnu Korim, Umishtachavim Umodin, Livnei Melech Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech al kol ha'aretz, V'yom ha'hu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. We close the ark. Please be seated. But everybody up on the bima,
hang out right there.
Hang out up there together.
Yeah.
Oh, but you can come back down.
You can come down, take a few steps down to the next level.
Yeah.
So as we get near to the end of our service, we take these moments to remember those who are no longer with us, those who have died in years past, but whose memory we hold very close. And we believe that they are spiritually here. They are watching you, Gavin and Lauren, and they are smiling. And we know your family is thinking of Abe and Tilly Siegel and Marvin and Anita Braver. As a congregation, if anyone is in the first 30 days of mourning the loss of a loved one, we invite you to please rise. If you're in the first year mourning the loss of a loved one, to please rise. Or if you are commemorating a yard site this Shabbat, to please rise. If it is your custom to rise for mourners Kaddish, we invite you to do so at this time, or to rise for those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. Here at Temple Emanu-El, we rise for mourners Kaddish on page 41. Yitgadal v'yitkada shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush v'chata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shlam Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. All right, friends, if everybody will please rise on up. Family, if you guys will grab the Kiddush cups that are right next to
Clayfield, go to your left, and there's a little tray of the grape juice cups.
So we'll keep everything that's there up on the bima. And we'll do a quick little Vishamru right into our blessing over the wine. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat L'asot et ha-Shabbat L'doratam berit olam. Do it again. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat L'asot et ha-Shabbat L'doratam berit olam. Gavin and Lauren, make sure do you guys have Kiddush cups?
I have this one. Mine.
Good.
Perfect.
You can
Hold it
have
on up or hold it together, and we'll join together in our blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. All right, take a sip. It's just grape juice.
It's just grape juice. And then there's the challah clay sitting right next to there too. We take the cover off. We say a little wala. Challah. There it is.
I spilled it.
And we'll join together. Baruch
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
Siman
Tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu, 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 ulechol Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Sameach.
Thank you all so much.